What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Remember the CBP captain, Greg Bovino? Remember him? The one in Minnesota who was in charge of the ICE units and the Border Patrol units who, deleted that white woman and that white man, right, for no reason. Remember him? Remember the one who wore the little long Nazi-esque trench coat, and he just so happened to be greeting his fans with a little wave that kind of looked like the Roman salute. Remember that? Remember that guy? Yeah. Oh, he's also the guy who just, all right, you're going to see it in the video. He just went to a white nationalist convention in Europe because he believes that Europeans and white Americans have the same issue. Too many colored people, right? We need to reverse migration. He's all for it. Super racist. But let me tell you something about him. Let me tell you who he is, all right? Now, a movie recently just came out, right? With Leonardo DiCaprio, and what's that black girl? She's a singer, right? And it was like they about revolution. I see why I got a bunch of awards, right? And people said it took awards from other places, right? Remember the character of Sean Penn? Remember Sean Penn? How he was a over masculine racist, but he loved black women, right? That's who Bovino is. That's who Bovino is. And how do I know? How do I know this? Because I know Bovino. Yeah, me personally know Bovino. I told y'all, vaguely what I did for a living, right? I used to work with him. Not directly, but kind of directly, like laterally, right? I work with him. He used to try to smash my cousin all the time. Like, the dude loves black women. And he loves hanging around. He loves talking to black people. He loves to be around black people. He got like a short man complex, right? And he's CBP. And the way CBP operates is they act like they're a military, but they're not. But they like to posture like a military. Trust me, I know everything about CBP. 15 years. I've been working with the CBP, USAID, CIA, FBI, all of them. You name it. I've worked with them, for them, all that shit, okay? And I meet a lot of these powerful people who you see on TV. I've known them as their first name, right? And I've shared snacks and shit with some of these motherfuckers. It's that type shit, right? And so I know this Bovino dude is a typical white man, right? Who, got his chest puffed out. I'm a warrior. I'm a fighter, right? He don't like Mexicans. I'm gonna tell you that shit right now. Most CBP, they do not. Those guys don't like Mexicans. And funny thing is, half of them are Mexican. The most racist Mexicans work for the CBP. And they love nothing more than to get rid of the other Mexicans. And these are the white Mexicans. These are the mestizo Mexicans, right? They hate those brown Mexicans. They separate themselves from those brown Mexicans vehemently, especially when you talk to them about it. They make sure you understand they are not the same. All right, and that shit is wild. That to me, that's wild. It sounds wild to me. I'm like, but you're a Mexican. Y'all your people. They be like, nah. I'm like, okay, right. But yeah, Bovino, this dude is going to run for the presidency. He figures this environment is perfect for somebody like him, right? A white nationalist. He figured he got enough support in America, right? And then first thing, you got to go to Europe, see if you can get support by the global white nationalists over there, right? Seems he got a little support. Somebody put a battery in his back, told him, hey, this might be a perfect opportunity to run. Because when Donald Trump, though, they need another racist. The Republicans got to put up another white man racist in order to, satiate the swelling racism of white people in America as they see their power being eviscerated, as they see white supremacy disappearing. They need a warrior. They need a champion. They need a racist Jesus, because keep in mind, these are all Christians, right? Right? This is their religion. Racism is the religion of white people in America. If you want to ever ask, what is white culture, right? And notice, white people can't answer it, right? But when you truly think about it, white culture is racism. That's what white culture is. Racism and white culture came together. When whiteness was invented, racism was invented. They come together. So if you want to know what white culture is, it's racism, right? It's racism they spread throughout the world. It's racism that POCs galvanize to and practice because they want to be close to white people. In order for POCs to capitulate and assimilate to white culture, they have to practice white culture, which is racism. Makes sense now, right? So The white power structure has figured out that there's enough in the demographic of POCs who support white culture and white people, right, who want to preserve white culture, which is racism, right, to where if he made a run, he doesn't have quite the baggage of Donald Trump, per se, quite the baggage of Donald Trump, right? But he also has the badges of white supremacy, as he has been instrumental in the dispatchment of their ops, right? Their ops. White supremacist ops are white people who don't care about the construct of whiteness and want to destroy white culture, which is racism, right? My light-skinned brothers and sisters on the other side, right? So since he is known for the deletion of light-skinned people, this is perfect red meat for those white people who want to preserve white culture. Do you understand? So he make a run for it. He may have an opportunity, especially if he doesn't have to compete with Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump sees him as racist enough to give him an endorsement, he may have an opportunity, right? Every single Republican candidate has to provide red meat for the constituents, meaning I either got a black person killed, maybe I shot one before, I did something to prove my racism and my race loyalty to my white culture, which is racism, right? Because white culture is racism because they don't have nothing else other than the need to hate things that they are jealous of. Being afraid. And racism is part being afraid, right? Insecure, jealousy. Like, this is the culture of being white, right? Because they're never happy. You ever notice these racists are never happy? You only see them happy. You only see what racist people happy when they're in the act of being racist, when they can hurt somebody, when they're causing pain and discomfort. This is when you see the joy come out of white people. And by white people, I mean the white racist people. This is when you see the joy. This is the only moment you see them happy. And also, you know, when they go to those little conferences and shit, where they get gathered together and they worship other racist people who have accomplished the task of dispatching a dragon, which is a black man, or doing something to some Mexican or some shit like that, and they get praised, and then they go on Grindr where they run up and down the hallways having sex with each other. Because that's what they do. They rent all the hallways around the halls that they rent out for their conventions. And while they're there, since they are the closeted LGBT community of America, right, they figure this is our opportunity to participate in our other deepest desires, you know, while we're all together. And that's why Grindr crashes. So they can secretly go from room 202 to room 304. Do what they got to do and go back to 202, if you understand what I mean. Anyway, without further ado, we got to keep paying attention to these guys. They're making moves in our faces, and we're not paying attention because we're talking about, you know, things that don't matter, like what a celebrity's doing. Nobody gives a fuck about what a celebrity is doing. What is a celebrity in the age of social media? That's another question. Anyway, you tell me what you think in the comment section. It's Afro. Think tank, learn some, teach some. I'm out.
Greg Bovino, this man has created an exploratory committee to run for President of the United States of America in 2028. Bovino, who led CBP and ICE efforts in Minneapolis, Minnesota during the murders of Alex Preddy and Renee Good, is now exploring a run to be President of the United States of America. He told News Nation in an exclusive interview today that he, if all things come together, will decide to launch an official campaign for President of the United States of America. This is real. It's not satire. It's not The Onion. And here we are in 2028. As always, I'll have more updates for you soon, so spread the word. Follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. There'll be more to come shortly, so stay tuned.
I'm sorry, am I reading this right? Ex-Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino is exploring 2028 White House run? This has got to be a joke, right? Nope, News Nation confirmed it. He is exploring running. This is what happens when stupid people watch stupid people in the White House, so they think they can also do what they're doing. So if you're not aware, Greg Bovino is the guy who was in charge of all the crackdowns in Los Angeles, Chicago, and Minneapolis. But after 30 years of his service, he retired back in March. He kind of had to because of all the shit that he was getting regarding Alex Pretty's murder. His campaign website says Bovino 2028 and the slogan, Men Fight Back. This is a guy who Trump has referred as a pretty out there kind of guy. But he did add that in some cases, that's a good thing. Bovino has said that Trump is too soft on immigration. And if elected in 2028, that he would lead deportation efforts from the front lines. You can't make this shit up.
Portugal, in a town about 90 minutes south of Porto, for one of Europe's biggest far-right conferences, where the theme is remigration, the racist ideology that advocates for the mass deportation of immigrants and non-white citizens. As well as hearing from elected officials and far-right activists from across Europe, there are also a large cohort of figures from the US, most notably Greg Bovino, former Border Patrol leader who became the face of Donald Trump's hardline deportation efforts.
It's always good to be with like-minded folks, especially individuals that understand, like Martin or Ava here, that understand the depth and the scope of the problem and what awaits and what Europe faces with such a problem if it's not addressed rather rapidly. Same thing for the United States. Martine and I talked. Same problems, same issues, same solutions.
But as the conference takes place in the building behind me right now, the speakers talking about their free speech being trampled on and activists being censored on social media, myself and the rest of the media here to cover the event have been regulated to a tent in a car park outside the building, preventing us from witnessing what is happening inside. Conference organizer Martin Sellner told me the decision to block media access was to protect the privacy of attendees who he said may lose their jobs if they were revealed to be attending a remigration conference. But ahead of the event, I was able to witness activists from across Europe, including Ireland, the UK and France, walking in, as well as members of Patriot Front, a white supremacist group from the US. So while this is meant to be a conference about free speech, I can't tell you exactly who's here or what they're talking about.
All right, everybody, we have some absolutely chilling breaking news to report on today. Greg Bovino, number one enemy of anybody who appreciates human dignity and democracy, and the former commander-at-large for Donald Trump's ICE, up until about 4 or 5 months ago, has announced that he may be seeking the presidency in 2028. This may be the most deranged bid for presidency since, I don't know, Donald Trump's, maybe even RFK Jr.'s bid, to think of even more recent history. But I want to walk you through some of the updates with Bovino, ICE, and his deranged view on immigration in America. I mean, let's waste no time and just jump in. Greg Bovino made this long post announcing his, basically, run. And in this post, I want to point to one specific number that he lists before we even jump into the entire post. He says, "My one and only priority is deporting the 106 million illegals who are here." That's it. And I want you to think about this number, 106 million illegals who are here. That would be almost a third of the population of the country, illegal immigrants. Is he just schizophrenic and viewing things on the streets that aren't there? Well, no. He's counting all immigrants who are here and even the family members of immigrants here legally, people who are born here via birthright citizenship, people who at the same time are working towards their citizenship or are here on work visas. So this 106 million number is derived from a few things. Approximately 85.7 million people in the United States are of immigrant origin, meaning they are either foreign-born immigrants or native-born citizens with at least one immigrant parent. This demographic accounts for about 1/4 of the U.S. population. On top of that, he thinks there are about 20 million illegal immigrants here who came solely under Biden. That's what he calls them. Illegal immigrants came under Biden. So this number in total gives you the Greg Bovino figure of 106 million people that he wants to deport. These are my family members. I have family members who are direct immigrants who moved here from Syria. I mean, my dad is the son of his father who moved here from Syria. I have family members who have worked towards a better life for the people around them and in their community, have become physicians, doctors, heart surgeons.
Tell me your previous job and your first and last name, please.
Well, sure. It's Gregory Bovino. Previous job was Chief Patrol Agent, U.S. Border Patrol.
And how long were you working there at ICE?
Approximately 30 years.
All right. Thank you so much for talking with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that was my interview with Greg Bovino.
I pray all of the billionaires who exploit the lower class fucking die. And they get licked down, put in the ground, dug up, and then fucking told to die again. Bitch ass fuck. Fuck is you talking about? Amen.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such an extent that you bleach? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.